Okay. Hi, guys. So I've tried recording this a couple different ways, and every single time I have, it hasn't come out how I wanted it to. And with basically a lot of the information kind of sounding similar to stuff you've maybe already heard in the time of release up until now, I figured the best way to kind of go about this is just a type of unscripted esque rant. I do have a lot of bullet points about things I want to talk about, but let me just start off by saying, since this is going to be a little bit, just off the top of my head, you're going to be hearing me stutter a little bit. There's going to be lots of ums and uhs and some pauses here and there. And this is definitely one of those videos where you can definitely just like throw it up on a second monitor. The gameplay is just going to be some like B-roll footage of me playing the game and everything. But I do think I did want to get this video out regardless. Some people have been asking me what my thoughts are on the game. Is it worth it right now? And are you hopeful for the future? And the TLDR, if nothing else from this video, I think as of right this moment, unless you are a mega fan of the Payday series, I don't think Payday 3 is worth it right now. I think it's best just to wait a little bit longer until the game has a bit more content and it is mainly fixed with its numerous quality of life fixes that it needs, as well as bugs, perhaps even this offline mode that everyone, myself included, is kind of ranting and raving about, because that is very important, don't get me wrong. So my bullet points are going to be kind of jumping all over the place here. It's not as structured as writing out a script would be or anything, but I essentially put them in things that I like the most, all the way down to things that I hate the most. And there's pros and cons with each subject, of course. But let's just start off, okay? So Payday 3, I'm over level 100 now. I think I hit 105 last night. And I'm just over 100 hours in the game as well. So I've pretty much experienced everything there is to experience so far, and I'm now hitting the point where I've hit like the soft level cap and everything. I can make like a full build. I have all the skills. I have all the guns leveled up. I don't have all the attachments for the guns, but we'll get to that in a bit. But yeah, me personally, I like the core gameplay of Payday 3. I think it is definitely an improvement over Payday 2, for sure. I can see that a lot of work went into the changes that were like the differences between the two. But I guess let's just dive into what I like most. The number one thing I actually like the most out of this game is the stealth, which is kind of crazy because stealth isn't like the go-to thing that people really look towards the Payday series for. I mean, if you just like took an average bystander and said, "Hey, have you heard of Payday? What do you do with that?" "Oh, it's like a horde shooter. You rob banks. It's cooperative. That's it, right?" You don't really think like, "Oh yeah, it's a stealth game or anything," right? But stealth is so much better in this game versus 2. It is no longer just like a binary thing. It's not either you're stealthing or you're going loud. There's stages to it, and I really like that. What I like most about it are, I feel like up to a certain point, I mean, not as much as I'd like, but definitely an improvement in the right direction, that gone are the days of just kind of like waiting by the escape van. So what I mean by this is like in Payday 2, you can have people that are just like horrible with stealth. You can even have friends who say, "I hate the stealth in this game. I don't want to do it. If it's a stealth only job, I'm going to ask that you just do the whole heist and I'm going to wait by the escape van," or something, right? That's what I mean. And with the new casing mode and everything, where you can sprint, crouch, lockpick, hack, and everything with your move bags, even with your mask off, that adds so much more that you can do if you don't want to be. I mean, yeah, you could still be like, "Hey, I don't want to go into the illegal areas or whatever. I don't want to ruin the run." But you can still have your friends that hate stealth go, "Hey, just keep your mask off. If anything, you can help move bags. You can spot guards for us. You can hack into cameras remotely. You can pickpocket somebody. You can hack a little phone on someone's tool belt, in a public area that gets us a QR code and everything." I think the casing mode is very, very good. And I actually like how concealment is now a thing of the past. There's no concealment rating for bringing, weapons and armor, so you're not gonna be, having a quicker detection risk or anything like that. It is simply just bring what you want. As long as you have a silencer, you're good. You can make the argument of, yeah, bring the lightest armor so you can move the quickest. But honestly, like, you could still bring medium to heavy armor and still be fine. And my biggest thing with Payday 2 that I hated was that you had to commit to one or the other. Like, there was no, like, hey, I'm going to be attempting to stealth the, like, hardest difficulty, and if I fail, I'm going to keep going, right? On Death, I know the game's difficulties aren't, like, as big and drastic as in Payday 2, and at launch, we, on Payday 2, that is, we also just had up to overkill. But still, I feel like with the way skills, at least originally worked before the rework happened in 2, there was way more like, hey, let's just try to stealth, maybe even get up to like a point. That way we have like, we skip a few objectives here and there in stealth. And if we get caught, we have our guns, we have an okay build. Let's just keep going. We'll make it. You know what I mean? And I really like that. That's my favorite thing. I do think nowadays in Payday 2, if you're playing Death Sentence, there is no like pseudo stealth build. I mean, there kind of is, but you have to be like a cracked player. The average Joe Schmo could not just like, bring a pseudo stealth build, and if it goes loud, you're like, oh, it's fine. If you're going loud in Death Sentence One Down, you need a spec for it completely. There is no pseudo stealth or anything like that, right? And if you're stealthing in Death Sentence One Down, if it goes loud, you're going to get just absolutely demolished, right? It's an automatic reset and everything. And they can't really stop that from happening. People will always be like, hey, let's stealth it, and if it goes loud, we're restarting. That's all we're going to do. But I think, for me at least, at a point where if you have fully stealthed every heist from start to finish, right? Like, you want to do like a, hey, we're stealthing. If an alarm goes off, restart. That's fine. More power to you. But I would want to make the argument being like, hey, if you've already done that once and everything, and you're not like one off a challenge from completing the heist in like a stealthy manner or whatever, which I'll get to challenges a little bit later. I say like just keep going. Just try it, because the skills, which will be its own section, again, there are definitely some OP stealth skills, but a lot of the skills can be used for both stealth and loud, which I think is definitely a step in the right direction. I kind of like everything that stealth has going for it. I like how the difficulties actually matter in stealth with Titan cameras, cerebral core on Golden Shark, so you can't just like hack one in like the one area you need to be constantly. You have to keep popping it, unless you want to commit to wasting one of your pages on the camera guard. And yes, I know, as if it is right at the time of recording this, there are ways to disable the cameras without using his pager. That kinda is an unintentional game mechanic, so I only do it if like I can't be fucked or anything like that. But I don't really like doing that kind of stuff. But yeah, I completely understand that there's a way around that. But and then the head guard. The head guard is a super cool thing. A lot of people that I've been playing with say, "Oh God, this head guard mechanic is so fucking stupid. Why is he always in the spot that I don't want him to be? Why is he coming in this area?" Like, that's the intention, man. Like, that's the good point. You gotta like, keep on your toes and everything. This guy goes a lot of places. He checks nooks and crannies. That's like just it. So like, it's important that you're keeping an eye on where this guy is. You can't just be like, oh, he's somewhere. Who gives a shit? You know what I mean? It's supposed to be a challenge, because you also don't want to take him out, because every so often his pager will keep going off and off and off, and then you'll just run out, right? So I think it's a very good addition. I like having a head guard, and there's just a simple workaround to that. A lot of people that complain about it, just throw a motion sensor on him. You can stick it onto his back. He will be permanently marked and everything. That is going to be the best case scenario for you. And if you didn't know that, now you do. You can either do a micro cam to just like simply stick to him and see like, oh, he's over here, or throw a motion sensor on him, and then he'll constantly be marked, and he'll mark other guards he walks by and everything. That's my personal go-to for him, but I really, really like having the head guard. I think that's a really cool feature. What next? Distractions are very good in stealth. I like how you could use throwing knives as long as you don't. I'm sure some of you have seen this already, but for those that don't know, using a throwing knife like at an object near a guard, he will hear it and go to investigate. You should not use the skill that makes it to where throwing knives do not break when you throw them at an object, because if they don't break and a guard goes to investigate and sees the throwing knife stuck in the wall, he's going to toggle search, which is bad. You kind of don't want that to happen because search doesn't wear off or anything like that. So if they break, he'll just go investigate and be like, oh, must have been the wind, whatever. I like how there's lures. I like how guards can hear your footsteps. I like how you can make distractions. I like that you can be escorted out of just like private areas if you have your mask off and everything. Because that can be also used as a distraction tactic. It can be like, hey, this guy's in the way. Will you like walk in front of him? Then he'll walk you out, and then this hallway will be open for me. I really like that. I think it's stealth has definitely been like the one of the biggest improvements in between games, and I love it. And I really like stealth games just in general. And I've always kind of liked Payday 2 stealth, but I love Payday 3 stealth. It's so good. It definitely is a bit easier, but that doesn't make it less fun. You know, easy does not mean, or like challenging does not equal more fun. I think fun equals fun, and stealth is actually way more fun to do in 3 than 2. So my favorite thing so far about 3 is the stealth, for sure. Moving on from that, though, let's talk about just core gameplay for loud and everything. And the first thing to do to talk about loud, I think, is the gunplay, right? Because literally, like, that is what you're there. That's what all the guns are for. It is for killing enemies, right? The guns, I think, feel really great. They give, they feel really good, and they give off the feeling of like what their role is. And what I mean by that is like if it's a gun that has a low magazine count, a lot of recoil but high damage, you can feel that. You know, it feels like this gun is doing a lot of damage versus say like an SMG or the Northwest B9 and everything. Those are more like bullet hoses. They'll shoot really quickly. They don't kick so much, but they're weaker and everything. And I like how they feel. They all feel really good. I think they all sound pretty good. I do like how you actually have to commit to reloads in this game. Some of my friends don't like that. They don't like, oh, I just want to reload cancel with like a melee or a sprint or something. I actually like that it's a commitment to do a reload. And I do really, really love how the reloads are like checkpointed in the animation process, right? I don't know the proper term for that. And I'm going to butcher this because I don't know guns like IRL, so please don't get too mad at me if I don't say the right like word for the parts of the guns. But what I'm talking about is like, let's say you have like a pistol, right? You will flick out the magazine, put in a new one, and then you need to, reset the slide or, recock the slide or whatever, right? So it can go back and it will load the next round. So that's 3 parts that can take 3 separate checkpoints, right? If you just flick out the magazine, but then start sprinting, the gun's not going to, finish loading unless you have like the skill to reload and sprint, of course, obviously. But when you stop sprinting, you will just pick up where you left off. You don't need to re-flick out the magazine again, right? You'll just put the new one in, fix the slide, and if you do it a little bit later, like flick out the magazine, put in a new one, then sprint, and stop the animation. When you resume, all you got to do is refix the slide and everything. So that's what I'm talking about. That's on majority of the guns. I think the only thing that really doesn't matter too much is like, the Reinfeld shotgun, because you're just loading shells one at a time. That can just stop kind of anywhere. But I do like how it remembers that you need to like pump, or you need to cock back the bolt and everything with the bolt action sniper. It's also really cool if I've noticed, it honestly is a little annoying, but I like the attention to detail. With the bolt action sniper rifle, if you shoot and then reload before you have a chance to pull back the slide, you're going to reload it like it was empty, where you pull back the slide, then take the magazine out, put in a new one, and then put the bolt back down, right? Which is only going to give you your magazine of 5. I like how everything is like a +1 system, so like if a magazine holds 9, you can technically hold 10, right? Because the magazine holds 9 and then 1 in the chamber, right? So you can technically go 1 above, except for like, actually no, I think everything has a +1 in the game right now, except for like the grenade launcher, obviously, but that's a nightmare we'll talk about in a moment. So yeah, I really like that aspect to the guns. For a few cons, I don't like that we are back to bars in the menus. The menus, spoiler alert, is my least favorite thing about this game. I'm going to have a lot to say about what I hate about that. But we're going to talk about just a little bit now since we're in this section about guns. I don't like how we're back to bars. Payday 2 had bars at launch, and there was a reason why everyone liked it when we changed it to numbers. I don't know why we didn't learn from that. Numbers are much better than bars, specifically when you also have these attachments that, according, because I don't think they actually do what the game says they do, according to the game, they make little tiny, changes to them, and that bar amount is so tiny, like is this even worth it? You know what I mean? Moving also into what's bad for the guns. Whose idea was it for the attachments item descriptions? These are horrible. And I know anyone that takes like a moment to think can figure this out with like this plus and minus system. Like, obviously if it says plus recoil, I feel like a regular person's thought is, wait, does this add more recoil? Oh wait, no, it's like technically helping. Plus is good for the gun, minus is bad for the gun. Then you figure that out. So whenever you see like plus recoil and everything, it's technically making the gun have less recoil. It's a little backwards, you see what I mean? And I really I don't know why they did this. Well, I don't know why you couldn't just have like reduces recoil in that little box. You know what I mean? Would that be so impossible to do? A lot of the attachments in the game also feel like they don't change the gun much at all. Now, some of the attachments, like for instance, I'm going to talk about in particular the speed pole magazines. I like them because they aren't like Payday 2, where it's just a straight up like 50%, or was it like a doubled, like 100% reload speed increase for nothing, for no con. I know they recently added cons to them, like they affect like, your gun kick and your accuracy now in Payday 2, which is good. They should have done that at the start. But as of Payday 3, that's what we're talking about mainly. As of right now, all they have is just, a bonus to reload speed, and that's it. But it really only feels like it makes like a 5, maybe 10% reload speed increase, which I think is fine. I really don't want like attachments that are just like, this is the thing to run, versus everything else. There's no reason not to use like this one attachment. And technically you have that with some of the speed pull max because there's no cons to them. But if anything, like it doesn't change the gun too much. It's not going to like make or break your build or anything like that. So I think that's kind of fine overall. And then moving on to kind of my next bullet point with all the guns, I think the amount of guns we have is good for launch. I really don't want this game to be nearly as bloated as Payday 2. Obviously Payday 2's been out for 10 years, right? And they had it to where there's plenty of weapon packs that came out over the years. There was free weapons that came out. There were even heists that came out that gave you guns, right? So Payday 2 has so many guns in it and everything, right? And so many of them do the exact same thing. They just look and sound different. Maybe have like, oh, this one has 4 more stability and 4 less accuracy. But then this other assault rifle is the exact opposite. Has 4 more accuracy, 4 less stability. You could still just modify it to be a 100 stability accuracy gun, so it doesn't matter, you know what I mean? Like, there's too many guns in Payday 2 that do the exact same thing. And for right now, every gun kind of feels like it has its place. That being like, is it a automatic weapon that does a lot of damage? Is it like a mid automatic weapon like the CAR 4, right? Where like it shoots kind of quicker than like say like the AK or the SCAR, but then it doesn't have as much damage. You have the SMGs, really spammy, but don't do as much damage. You have the marksman rifle, single shot, but not too many bullets in its magazine, right? The bolt action sniper is a weird one, and I'll get to this in a moment because it has to go with my next bullet point. But overall, I think the amount of guns we have is pretty good. I really think the overkill weapons is an interesting mechanic. Like, it's an interesting resource from just generating like kills and doing objectives and everything, which is great. But having only 2 overkill weapons at launch feels a little weird. I don't know why we wouldn't just have, I don't know, I feel like there should have been 3 at least, right? 4 maybe is kind of pushing it. But like, call me crazy, we don't have an LMG in this game. And I know they've talked about, like, if we were going to add an LMG, it'd be an overkill weapon. But, like, why isn't that a thing at launch? I feel like just take one of the LMGs from Payday 2. Like, I don't know, the KSP or the Brenner or something. Why is that not an overkill weapon? Give it, you know, 2 magazines of like 150 bullets, so 300 bullets total, and have you able to just like spam it and everything. Like, yeah, that's a lot, but I don't know. You could bring back the. You can't quite aim as well, doesn't have good range. You could move slower again, or the requirement to get it is way more kills than the other 2 weapons or something. Like, I just think it's kind of weird. My hopes for weapons being added, kind of add like 1 to 3 of every weapon category from 2, minus akimbo, shotguns, and SMGs. Akimbo, I wasn't really a big fan of. If anything, if they really want to bring it back, because I understand some people love akimbo weapons, I really hope they just keep it as pistols, honestly. And like, honestly, like the akimbo strikes and the akimbo, auto pistols in Payday 2 are really, really, really good, right? And I know using like the akimbo Krinkovs, which are the AK-74s, is kind of better and everything. It's just crazy. I don't think that should even really be a thing. It knocks out the balance for automatic weapons like completely. So I don't know. Kind of just like keep it where kind of more like Payday the Heist. Add a couple weapons that each have like their roles and everything, and don't add too much bloat. Just make it like where like it's enough to have variety for variety's sake, and add more attachments or something to kind of rework it. That would be kind of cool. I don't know. I don't want to get into speculation a bit too much there. I feel like we have way more to talk about, so we're gonna kind of keep moving on here. So with the overkill weapons, we actually have 2 of them. There is the Mamba, or the grenade launcher, and the Red Fox, which is the sniper. And anyone who's anyone can easily tell the sniper is night and day better than the grenade launcher. The grenade launcher isn't like terrible, but it's like a C- at best, just because it fucking hurts you way more than it hurts the enemies. And it just also doesn't help it has a super long reload, but like I think that's fine for a grenade launcher like that. You know, it should be if you can fire 6 grenades in quick succession. But man, like, it is really tough to not break all your armor with this gun unless you are way far in the back lines. And even then, if I'm in the back lines, wouldn't I rather have a sniper that can collat enemies, shoot through walls, and I can see through walls and everything, versus just, oh, it blows up. You know what I mean? This is the kind of the section where I wanted to talk about the bolt-action Rheinfeld sniper. So I do like how this sniper rifle doesn't have the same characteristics as all the Payday 2 snipers, which is, armor penetration right out the gate. It can wallbang everything. It can shoot through shields and everything, right? The bolt-action sniper can collateral, which I think it's through headshots only. I might be a little wrong on that. Maybe if like you get like a kill through the ball, you can still keep going, and you have your armor penetration up or something. But I know it can collat. I know it can one-shot shields if you shoot through their little visor and everything in their shield. But it can't shoot through walls anymore. And that's kind of the purpose of the overkill weapon sniper rifle, which I think is good. Like, I don't think that needs like a buff or anything. I think that if an overkill weapon is supposed to be like this is a crazy weapon of firepower, the mechanics of like shooting through walls and the ability to like kill specials very quickly with like 1 to 2 shots should belong to this gun and everything, right? I think it's a little too strong, but that's only because you only have 2 options, and one's dog shit and one's amazing, so maybe if they had a little more variety, it won't seem as powerful. But yeah, I think there needs 1, maybe 2 more overkill weapons, that being like an automatic shotgun, an LMG, maybe a minigun, maybe. I really didn't like the really big, goofy weapons in Payday 2 after a while, so that's a big maybe. But yeah, I don't want SMGs to also come back to the secondary slot. I want sidearms to be the only secondary we keep. I like it just being pistols. Pistols got really dogged on near the end of Payday 2's lifespan. It's like, why would you ever bring one? Like, literally bring an SMG or a shotgun or an RPG. Like, or even a sniper at this point, right? Or the only pistol that was good was the 5.7. And you know why? It was a pocket sniper rifle. Like you could shoot through walls, body armor, and shields and collide enemies. Like it was ridiculous. So all we have right now are 6 sidearms, 4 pistols, 2 revolvers. The SIG 40 and SIG 403 feel a little too samey, because you know the Strike's supposed to be like the spammy pistol but with a huge magazine. And then the SP11 is the exact opposite, you know, only a few rounds, and it kicks a lot more, but it's supposed to do more damage. And then the 2 revolvers we have both feel very good, but as it is, like, it takes longer to reload, so I think that's good. I don't ever want to, like, hold a hostage while holding, like, an SMG or, like, a shotgun or an automatic shotgun, for that matter. Like, do not add automatic shotguns unless it's an overkill weapon. Like, please. Please, I just don't want this gun balance to be ruined. That's why I'm talking about it so much. But yeah, I think sidearms are also good. And I think it's about all I have to say about the guns. Next thing I'm going to talk about, and this is where my opinion kind of differs from a lot of people. I think in Payday 3, the armor change is a very good change. I love how armor is a limited resource now. It is very good that I can't just stay in a heist literally forever, because of 2 reasons. One being that eventually my armor will break, and even if I use an armor bag, that will run out, right? Because my armor will just break again. And, which I'll talk about this point a little bit later with the AI, with, you know, cops and everything. But there's a final charge now, meaning that at a certain point, the waves is not going to end, meaning that, like, I'm not going to get a break with the bots dropping me bags or anything like that anymore, you know? So I really like how there's like a sense of urgency, and you as a player now have to think and make choices of like, hey, do I wait for this wave to die down before moving so my armor doesn't get melted? Or do I trade like a plate to quickly move like these 3 bags into a better position so the cops don't potentially move them into somewhere we don't want them to? Like, I like making decisions around that. I like using my brain and not being as mindless in like a loud heist. So I really like armor working this way. What I do think needs to change is that the armor bag needs to not be the only viable deployable equipment to bring. The thing is that you could, in theory, make an argument, at least as in the state of the game right now, you can make a theory that, like, hey, I have a medic bag build, because I've seen one around that's actually really good. I can bring a sentry build. I could bring an ammo build if, like, you know, we have 3 other armor bags. The thing is, though, as it is right now, you just can't go wrong with bringing an armor bag, right? Like, there's no reason not to bring one ever. There's never, like, a bad reason, like, oh, hey, don't bring armor, you know, or whatever. If you bring armor, no one's going to complain about that. So there needs to be another way to regain armor other than the armor bag, which I think they're saying they're going to be working on. I'd be cool if, like, instead of the bulldozer dropping, like, a first aid kit, he drops, like, 1 Kevlar plate chunk for you or something that you could loot. That's really good. And then I think health really needs a rework as well. I think health is way too squishy in this game. I know there's a lot of ways to, like, get it back and everything. I kind of don't want health regen to, you know, show its face ever again, unless it's like muscle and gambler. I think were the only 2 valid ways of regaining health other than like first aid kits and bags. Shit like grinder back in Payday 2 of just, oh, I shot you, so I'm healing, makes no sense. I don't like that. You know, sociopath kind of worked because it was in tiny amounts and you had to constantly be killing, but the shit like grinder, hostage taker, and everything, like, I get health for just existing. It doesn't fucking make sense to me. The only thing that made sense to me for that reason was muscle, because you also had a con of, like, I'm being targeted more, I need the health regen to, you know, be the tank, essentially, right? So that I thought was good. But anyway, yeah, please don't bring back health regen. Just naturally, like, make me want to use the doctor bag and first aid kits and everything. But also, I don't know, do something with the health. Health really needs a little bit of a rework. And now what I hate about the armor. The only thing I really had to complain about the armor system is that the description in the armor bags don't tell you this. Your downs, your amount of downs that you personally have, as well as your armor recovery speed for the chunk you will regenerate if you don't take fire after a while, is directly tied to the armor you bring. And the game doesn't tell you this. It just says, oh, it affects your movement speed versus the amount of chunks you get. There's also 2 more things that go into that choice that the game doesn't tell you about. So if you bring the lightest armor, which is 1 chunk, you will move the fastest, but you will have 4 downs versus 3, and your armor will recover way faster than any of the other ones. And it's the complete opposite with the heavy armor, which you get 4 chunks, only 2 downs, and then it takes forever for the armor to come back. So I wish they would change that. That could just be a quality of life thing, which I was hoping would already be in the game from that update, but I will get to that. All right, so yeah, that is my 3rd bullet point, is I wanted to talk about armor. I like that a lot. Moving on from that, we are now finally going to talk about the enemies you face in the game and everything, which is the cops and specials. So we'll go into the specials just a little bit. I really like all the specials in Payday 3. I think the Nader is a super cool addition. I really like that all the enemies are actually much more vocal now, too. Like, especially with the special units, too. They will taunt the shit out of you, even when you're, like, mowing through hordes of their comrades and everything. And they seem to react to the equipment you use as well. Like, I know cloakers are sabotagers. They'll pour acid on stuff. They go, ooh, armor bag, delicious, or some crap like that. And then they'll get rid of it. And like with flashbangs too, I've seen it to where if you throw flashbangs, some specials will cry out, but the bulldozer makes fun of you and everything because he's not affected by flashbangs. I've had it to where I've thrown a flashbang at a bulldozer. Well, he was just in the area because there was way more cops around. But point being is that when the flashbang went off and the dozer should have been, in the area to be hit by it, he goes, flashbangs are for pussies, and then he fucking just kicks and stuns me, and then just completely decimates and downs me, and I love that. I thought that was really fun. So I do think it's really cool that the tactics change for the choices you make as a player with the specials, mainly being like, if you have hostages nearby, naders are going to throw flashbangs instead of gas grenades. If you have a human shield, the cops won't shoot directly at you unless like you're aiming down sights and you're exposing more of yourself. And then they'll just try to run up and bash the civilian out of your hands and everything, which kind of stuns you. The shields will be like, form a line behind me, I'll protect you guys. If a grenade gets thrown at them, they'll like put the shield in front of it to block it and everything, which can both be seen as like a counter to your nade, but also you kind of outplaying the shield in a way, because you can throw it behind them, he's going to try to block it, and then you just, shoot him from the back and everything. So I like that a lot. The dozer also feels really good. He feels like an actual threat to the team where you should focus on, and he feels like a good thing to use the overkill weapon resource on and everything. It's nice just getting rid of him quickly. Cloakers are super scary now. They just come out of nowhere, and I've been jump scared a few times. I feel like a year of my life's been removed because of the Payday 3 cloaker. And I really like how when they are charging at you, if you like aim at them and try to get them, they will like start wall running, they'll duck underneath, they'll do Dark Souls rolls out of the way and everything just to try to close that gap. It's very cool. The only thing that I'm on the fence about this, I don't know if I like it or if I hate it, is that they have made the change to where if you are the last person alive on a team, the cloaker will still down you, and then that will just be game over, essentially. There are skills to counteract that, of course, obviously, but yeah, in Payday 2, if you're the last up, cloakers would just shoot you. They wouldn't down you because, they didn't want the heist to be over like that, but they've gone the other way. And I might only be liking it right now because it's different. I don't know if like in a year or so I'm going to still like this change. So I'm on the fence about it. It's definitely something I've noticed and I'm thinking about. I'm like, that's kind of, oh, like he ruined my heist, but I should have been paying more attention because cloakers actually mean something now. You know what I mean? If I'm last up. So I don't know. I'm very much on the fence about that. All right. And that's basically what I got to say about the cops. Moving on with the AI, we're going to talk about the civilian AI. Civs are definitely way cooler. I like how they aren't useless now. Human shield is a very cool mechanic. A little gimmicky, if anything, but I do like it nonetheless. Sometimes where it's like, dude, we're going to go out in the open. Like, I don't want to be out here with no cover. I'm like, wait a minute, we could just grab, like, a hostage and move, with them. And it does definitely help with the amount of damage I'll be taking, because I'll only be getting like you know, I'll be getting shot from less directions, and you know, it definitely feels cool to like, you know, have a hostage like in your grasp and like back the hell up or whatever. Like, don't shoot this guy because you're gonna, or don't shoot at me because you're gonna shoot this civilian and everything. So that's really cool. I really like negotiation phase. I think trading for more time before the first initial wave comes in is really cool. I like how there's trading for resources for when nobody's in custody. That way there's a reason to still like keep an eye on the civilians, even if the team is performing well. I really like how there is a difference between like civilian and employees, because with the manipulator builds, like you can make it to where civilians are worth like, you know, less than, not worth less, but employees are worth more than just a regular civilian and everything, right? And some maps really are just littered with these guys, you know, like the nightclub, the bank upstairs, the bank being Golden Shark, that is. They're just littered with civilians. They can really make like just the map filled with first aid kits because of just how many civilians there are. Obviously, adding infinite cable ties was a step in the right direction. That's really good. And yeah, I really typically don't have civilians in the way too much anymore, right? I really like how they're performing. Only thing that I have a complaint about, I don't know if this is intended or not, is that once a civilian gets rescued by a hostage rescue team, those are usually, I think, the guys like in white, usually, is once you see them like kind of highlighted, like, hey, I'm freeing the tied up civ, you better shoot me or else he's gonna get away. It's like, if he does break the cable tie and the civilian gets up, you can't get him back down. Like, he's a frick, like, oh, no, like, you know, no tag backs. Like, you can't get me. I was saved. I'm out. I win. So it's just weird. I don't know why I can't be like, oh, hey, I just killed your captor. You're now back under my, you know, you're a hostage again. Like, I don't know why that's not a thing. Maybe they'll change that. I don't know. That's my only complaint with civilians, though. All right, now to talk about the actual heists and what I think about them. I think all the heists are really good. They are pretty fun to replay. I mean, obviously, I've been replaying the game a lot. I have over 100 hours now in the game. And I really like how they are a lot like previous concepts, but just improved upon. And what I mean by that is, like, you know, Payday 2 has jewelry store, nightclub, bank job, but now we have Dirty Ice, Rock the Cradle, that's what it's called, and, you know, No Rest for the Wicked, and then Golden Shark for our banks. Let me just start by saying this. Golden Shark is a very good heist, but it is not Big Bank 2. I hope they don't see that as, like, this is our big bank for Payday 3, because, I don't know, it's missing just a bit. Like, if a big bank is an S tier heist, Golden Shark is like an A minus to me, you know? Like, I want to say it's a B, but in comparison to everything else, like, it's obviously very good, so... but other than that, I do really like playing all these heists. My least favorite as of right now is 99 Boxes. I think that one is my least favorite to play just because of how open it really feels. It feels like you're getting shot from every single direction, and hunkering down in like a storage bin isn't that fun to me. But what really isn't fun, and I'm sure you've heard this from everybody, this stupid fucking standing in the circle objective to get like the Wi-Fi hacked for whatever reason is boring, and it is bad. When I first started playing the game, I said, I don't mind this. This is the new drill. It's whatever. You have to just not sit in a corner. It's cool. I like it. My consensus now, fuck this objective. Please do not heavily rely on this in the future. Bring back the drills. I don't care, man. I would much rather, you know, be like, hey, I want to move wherever the heck I want to, but if I have to go back to this one spot from time to time to fix a drill and I can't shoot enemies, so be it. Standing out in the open for 10 plus seconds is so stupid. And even having this done in both loud and stealth in 99 Boxes and like under the surface, so stupid. I hate it. It's going to get old really quickly, so I hope we don't rely on this way too much. But that is my big con for the heists. I don't really hate anything else for it. I think it's cool how there's like objectives that you can do that are optional. There are ways that you can approach multiple heists. I do hope, as of right now, the Rock the Cradle getting the VIP area gets reworked a bit, because you can skip half that heist. Like, that was like the kind of the grinding for weapon XP. I know there's an exploit on 99 boxes right now, but that's what a lot of people did for leveling up their weapons before they knew about that, was just like, oh, sprint in this area right next to the bouncers, and they'll investigate, and then just while their back's turned, pickpocket the key card, and you're good to go. Like, I don't like that. I want to do more in my heists, so I hate how there's now, like, I'm effectively just wasting my time by going up here, hacking a computer, hacking a phone. Like, I want to do that because it's required, not because it's like, you know, I'm just humoring myself by doing more objectives or something like that, you know? But yeah, other than that, I really like the heists. I think they are good. I think they are fun. I don't know why my computer hates No Rest for the Wicked. My computer and game runs like ass whenever that heist is on my screen. All right, next bullet point with the game is the movement. We're moving down into things I think are just kind of mid now. I think that the movement is a bit better than 2. I like how it's not as momentum-based. It feels pretty responsive. It's not as floaty, I guess you could say. But the sliding and mantling is kind of cool, but they are a bit more clunky, and I think they need a little more time in the oven, so to speak. Just because my main gripe is with mantling, right? Like, mantling, when you first play this game, is going to feel bad. You're like, why the fuck am I just jumping in place? Like, climb this fucking thing. Like, you as a Payday player have to play the game long enough to be like, oh, I know the sweet spots where I have to stand or what angle I have to approach something now so I can actually mantle something. And I feel like it should just be, like, right out of the box. Like, oh, if I'm in front of something and I jump, I should just mantle it, right? Or, like, you know, if I'm moving forward while I jump, I want to vault over it, versus if I'm standing still or no movement's being pressed as I jump, I just, you know, climb on top of it. That fucking parkour and under the surface, the amount of times, I think this has probably happened to a lot of you, where you want to just climb this one piece, but then you go flying over it into the, you know, floor and trigger the alarm and ruin the stealth run over this is really frustrating, right? And it just takes, like, you learning the mechanics, being like, oh, wait, I have to do it like this for it to work. You know what I mean? So I hope they fix that. And, yeah, overall, movement, pretty okay. A little gimmicky, but I like it. It feels like a much slower game now, which, you know, I like. I think that's good. That's about all I got to say for movement. We're going to move into the next bullet point I have here, which are the skills. Skills, I think, after my time so far in the game, I think are kind of mid. I'm going to talk about the good first and then go into the bad. So what I like about it is there are lots of themed ideas for the trees. So there's like Enforcer, Mower, Engineering, Manipulator. There's like a lot of stuff, right? So I think that there's like, you know, plenty of variety there. Researching is kind of an interesting idea because it's kind of forcing you to experiment in it. But really what I kind of just did was like, hey, throw 1 point into every tree that I possibly can. That way I'm leveling more at once. And then I'll just play like a stealth job. You know what I mean? It felt kind of weird. I think it's weird how like they didn't do it kind of like how Killing Floor 2 did it. Where like by just having the skill you get a certain amount of XP. But by using specifically the skills in them, you would get like a little bonus for doing it like a proficiency. Like for instance, with the sharpshooter tree in Killing Floor 2, you'll get XP just by killing enemies. But if you get like headshots for being, you know, a sharpshooter, you'd get a bit more. Like I don't know why it wouldn't be like the same here. Like if I'm running an engineering tree, why isn't it when I deploy sentry guns I get a little bit more? You know what I mean? Like I feel like it should. But whatever, I guess. Edge, Grit, and Rush are decent buffs. I kind of like how there's like this triangle theme to it, to where everything kind of revolves around these 3 buffs. And I actually like how they aren't life-changing effects on their own. They're more like stepping stones. A lot of the skills revolve around like, hey, if you have Rush, which is the move faster ability, you will also bag faster, you know what I mean? Or you'll move quick enough to where like civilians won't notice you swipe something really quickly or whatever, right? Like that's kind of cool and thematic, right? Or if I have Grit, I can pick you up and take even less damage. Or if I'm super up close and in your face, I'll be able to gain more grit, so I'm taking less damage and I can stay in your face. Like, I think that's good, but that's about all I have to say that's good about the skills. Going on the other side of that, all the builds as of right now with all 21 points that I have, they're all kind of samey. There isn't enough, character, or there isn't enough like specialization that you kind of like hone in on, like how Payday 2 did. Like Payday 2, it's like, hey, this is gonna be an AR build, so I'm gonna focus just a lot on like the automatic weapon skills and everything. But that's changed now. And the best example I can do to tell you what I'm talking about is a shotgun build is the exact same thing almost as a sniper build. And here's why. It's basically this ammo funneling skill, right? You think to yourself, oh wow, I'm going to just get the first point in sharpshooter, so if I aim down sights and I look down a sight line for a minute or a second, I will gain a damage buff. Then if I get a headshot kill, I will refresh the damage buff. So I'm doing more damage and I'm like a headshot guy. That feels good, right? But then I want to be able to stay in this spot, so instead of running over to them and picking up the ammo, or even better, not having to reload, I'm just going to have it to where when I kill the enemy, the bullet automatically goes back into my gun, right? So like, okay, that's a sniper build. That makes sense to me. But then my shotgun build is, hey, I'm going to shoot you, and when you die, I want the bullets to go back in my gun so I can keep shooting you. I don't know if this is more of like the builds are all too samey because ammo funnel is just ridiculously like an OP skill, or if there isn't like enough variety for me to make an argument of being like, I should bring this over ammo funneling. Like everything I'm bringing, I'm like, I want ammo funneling so I have to reload less. You know what I mean? So I don't know. Either make ammo funneling just work for certain weapon types or nerf it where it's like every other kill you get or something. I don't know. I'm not good at balancing shit, but it feels like everything's a little too same with that. But that's all I really got to say about skills. All in all, kind of mid. Hopefully the transporter one will be a good addition and they add a few more. I think we could do with a few more trees. That way it's a little more spread out, a little more variety in our builds. I think it's now time to talk about the negative stuff. So I'm just going to preference again. I'm going to be going off the walls a lot with the stuff I don't like here. I'm not going to hit everything because there's just so much stuff. But this is kind of the main thing that I've been looking at. And you've probably heard this all before, but this is what I'm seeing, right? So, the leveling. Leveling in this game is bad. At first, I said, it's okay, it's whatever, I don't mind the challenges or whatever for leveling up, it's fine. I've hit level 100, which is like the soft cap, because I've earned all the skill points and everything. All I have left to unlock is just like, presets and colors and accessories and outfits and stuff, just cosmetics essentially, right? But getting there definitely were some slow points. Like, I do think that this leveling system we have is just backwards. It makes no sense. Getting infamy points only from challenges is horrible. There is no worse feeling than taking your sweet time to like secure all the bags and some like heist for 40 plus minutes, and then you earn nothing. Like, you see nothing on the screen. Go, yeah, you didn't get anything for that. Thanks for playing, And the thing is, I feel like it'd be a little different if they at least showed like your progress towards certain things, because no matter what, if you play a heist, you're technically working towards that challenge of, complete the heist X amount of times with this method. But that's one thing that I fucking hate, is that challenge itself. Because holy fucking shit, Starbreeze, completing a heist 300 times with 150 being stealth and then 150 being loud, what are you smoking, man? Okay? Like, I have like 3,500, I think over 3,500 hours in Payday 2. I've played the game for 10 years, right? I think my favorite heist that I genuinely enjoy playing, and then even the ones that I grinded for like money and leveling up and, just EXP farming and everything, I still think the most amount of completions I have on these heists are in like maybe the 70s, right? Like, it's not that much. I think the most like amount I have is like Diamond Store because of the Infamy grind when Infamy 3.0 came out. But even then, like, I didn't enjoy it. You know what I mean? I don't enjoy these heists enough to want to do it 150 times in stealth and 150 times in loud. And yeah, I know we get like that's like the last challenge and everything in that certain challenge. Like there's rewards earlier for doing that. But 300 times is way, 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 way too much, man. That is absolutely crazy. Because those are basically the only challenges I have left. I've done all the get kills challenges, get headshots, hip fire with this certain weapon, use a silencer on this weapon challenge. Like, I'm basically almost out of that. The only challenges I have left are reach X level, which, you know, gets me C stacks, and then complete the heist this many times. You know what I mean? Like, it isn't the best as of right now. And this is why I think is absolutely just backwards, is that me using the guns to kill people and like just focus on like, hey, don't do objectives. I'm just going to sit in this corner or this bathroom and farm 1,000 kills with a gun so I can level up my account. But it doesn't level up my guns anymore is crazy. Why isn't it like, hey, you got like 120 kills with the AK and like 25, 40 kills with your secondary. So you got like 2,000 XP with your AK and, you know, we'll say like 750 XP for your pistol, you know? Like, why isn't it like a proficiency thing? Why am I not rewarded by using the guns? It's like, theoretically, you could unlock a new gun, and this is pretty much how I leveled up a majority of my primaries, right? I just unlocked the gun, put it as my primary, and then just played stealth. I never fired a shot of the thing, and it was completely leveled up. And, like, you're unlocking the ability to unlock the attachments. And it's just like, why? This is so backwards. Why is it by completing the heists, I earn weapons XP, but by using the weapons, I earn account XP? It should be the other way around. There really should be XP earned for completing a heist, specifically with modifiers for your difficulty. Like, that's how it was in the old game. That's how it should be now. Bags should get you more XP because there's only one challenge for cleaning out a heist, and then there's really no reason. You're kind of effectively wasting your time. You get a little bit more money from stealing all the bags versus just booting it up again and getting the minimum requirements. Like, and obviously some heists pay out way more than others. Like, why would I ever want to do a No Rest for the Wicked on Overkill and get like 600k when I could play an Overkill Road Rage in half the time and get double the money? You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't make any sense. And I really miss being able to see how much a bag is worth the second I throw it in. Do you remember how good it feels back in like when the diamond came out in Payday 2, and you like slaved away at stealthing that heist, learning all the rotations, learning the mechanics. You finally steal that diamond, and then you see the big, like, yeah, man, this one bag is worth like $2.5 million and everything. And that just felt so good to see that, like, you secured and stole this. And now it's like I'm throwing in this stuff, and it's like, oh yeah, that's a bag in there. Thanks. You know, I don't feel like I'm really working towards anything by stealing stuff, and it shouldn't feel like that. I always feel like I should be getting something by stealing something, and it just doesn't feel like that. So yeah, please, for the love of God, change the fucking leveling system. I know they talked about it, but they really are trying to like double down, and I don't know. It needs something, right? But leveling isn't even the worst thing I have to complain about this game. It is the menus and user interface and all this quality of life stuff. I am kind of furious that this update that was supposed to come out on October 5th didn't come out, because oh my god, the fucking menus and menuing and just a lot of the fucking features that should be in the game that just aren't is starting to drive me a bit nuts. I wrote a lot of them down. They're going to be all over the place. There's way more than we're going to talk about, but here's a few things, right? So you can't see who's in your party unless you pull up the social screen, which is a different button and a different screen, right? You can't stay with the people you meet in a public match unless you add each other after a heist and party up afterwards. There's no chatting with these people in the main menu being like, hey, are we stealthing? Are we going loud? What are you bringing? Should I maybe bring something else? Do you have a favor for this? I can't see all the heists on the matchmaking screen because I have to toggle off the cutscenes every time I complete a heist. The game doesn't remember this. I can't remember that I don't want to see them anymore. There's no like filtering for stealth allowed. So if you're pubbing, like good luck. There's no buying weapons is horrible because I don't know if anyone's noticed this. You probably have. Unlocking attachments is per weapon. So if you buy 2 of the same gun, you got to spend the money on both guns to get all the attachments, which some of the attachments are C-stacks. I'm not even going to touch C-stacks right now because honestly, like, I get it. It's like a currency for your account for being like how long you've been playing the game. So if you see someone with a lot of C-stack items, you know they've been playing a long time. That sounds fine to me. That's all I'm going to talk about. But man, like, I just want a sight. I want this red dot sight, and you're telling me I have to spend $5.5 million, like, for this, like, 10 C-stacks, and then it doesn't even unlock on this AK for both of them? I have to get it again? Like, why? And then buying the gun, it's like, okay, unlock the slot, then go into buy a weapon. Buy the weapon, and by pushing back, oh, nope, you're now in a different menu. You got to back out to the main menu, and then go back into your loadout, and then click on your loadout, and then make sure you fully equip it. And then speaking of equipping stuff, if you're in the pre-heist screen, you have to toggle through your loadouts one at a time, which you can't rename, by the way. So I hope you remember what you put on what number, and then you have to push an extra button to actually equip them. Noli didn't know this. I had to explain this to him during his live stream that, yeah, you actually can, change your build on the screen. It's just this little button at the bottom of the screen that says equip, and you have to push it, and then finally you'll change it. It'll look like you didn't change unless, like, you give it a second to load. And oh my god, you can't unready. Why the hell can you not unready in the game? That is so mind-boggling. Who thinks, like, yeah, we don't need an unready button? People aren't going to quickly make a mistake like, oh, wait, I actually don't want to bring this gun. Too bad. You're committed now. That makes no sense. When you're actually in the heist, if you're pubbing, you can't kick somebody. So if they have, like, a key card that you need to proceed and they just don't listen to you, oh, well. You're screwed. There's no voice chat in the game. What else? You can't change the game's privacy after you've made it, so invite only also isn't really invite only. People can still technically join you. It's just, there's so many things. And with this update, they were talking about saying, hey, it's going to be a while because we want to make sure that all the versions of the game, like consoles included, are up to date with all of them. So that's why we need 2 weeks after launch for all these changes to be coming through. But don't worry. It is like over 200 bug fixes and everything. That makes me go, okay, great. Like, I'm glad at least they're looking at this stuff and it's going to be getting fixed. And then, like, 2-3 days before October 5th rolls around, they go, hey, there's so much stuff and we really want to make sure that, like, things are actually improving, that we're cutting the update in half and some things are getting fixed on the 5th and more will come later. That should have just been, like, the biggest, like, red flag ever because, as you know, October 5th rolls around, and then they just go, oh, hey, guys, we're sorry. Nothing's coming today. And so you're thinking, okay, well, shoot, do you guys just need, like, an extra day or two? Like, when are we actually going to get it? And they go, all we can say is mid-October. Like, what? Mid-October? So you're telling me we're going to be nearly a month after launch with an exploit in the game where you can just fully level up all your guns in an afternoon? Like, what? Like, man, I love Payday, right? Don't get me wrong. But they are using all of the we're sorries and, hey, guys, this is our bad, and, hey, we promise this is going to get fixed way early in the game, right? They're saying they want Payday 3 to last just as long as Payday 2. If it goes like this, it won't. It straight up won't, because we are going to get fed up way too quickly. I'm obviously still playing the game. I will eventually get over it once the actual patch comes out. But man, I really don't want that to be a norm where it's like, hey, we promise this stuff is going to be getting fixed. And then, oh, hey, sorry. We don't know when it's going to get fixed. We're working on it. So, yeah. And then, finally, to kind of wind down this rant of mine, is the online only. And, this was coming. You knew it was coming. It's crazy. Like, I get that it is an online only game, and it's so you can do things on the back end to where you don't have to deploy a hot fix for, like, a change to get made or something. But, man, like, if their servers go down, like they did for several days after launch, I don't want to not be able to play the game I spent money on, right? Let me just play the game and level up my guns, my challenges by myself, you know? It's as simple as that. And I know it's obviously not just like we just have to flick a switch and offline mode is there. I know in like a debug menu or something there is, but like it doesn't earn your account any progression or something. But still, I would even take that. I would take no progression if I could at least play the video game and have fun, that I spent money on, versus it just being on a loading screen. And God, that queuing into a match thing for like when you're playing by yourself is the worst. It feels awful. I really hope they can just be like, yeah, we'll have a way to where like you don't have to look for a server. You can just host your own server and play offline, right? Or whatever. All right. That's just about everything I think that I wanted to talk about. So, again, just to recycle it all back up, I think Payday 3 is a very fun game with lots of issues. And if you're not the person that is just in love with the series and wants to play this game right now, just wait. Wait until these patches come out. Wait until there's a bit more content. And then make your decision then. Maybe even wait for like a sale, because apparently for $40, I don't know if it's worth it. Like for me it is, because I'm going to be playing the crap out of this. I love this series. I've already put, over 100 hours. So in my gold edition that I bought with my own hard-earned money, it's already over, $1 an hour for the amount of time I put into it. And it's just going to keep getting, up and up and up. But for someone that might just be wanting to play this game for like, 1 to 2 weeks with a couple of buddies and then move on to a different game, definitely wait. Hold off. Wait for a sale. Wait for fixes. And then enjoy it then. And Starbreeze, I love you guys. I really want you to do this because I'm so passionate about the game. I hope you guys are getting all your stuff together and we're actually going to have a really great experience with this game because I can see the potential it has and I want it to reach its potential. So, yeah, don't let us down, guys. Thanks for listening to this over hour-long rant, everyone. If you made it to the end, I really appreciate you. Payday 3 has definitely been a bit of a weird situation with me because I really want to keep making content on the game, but with where I am in life right now, it's not always easy to be like the first to upload content where it's like, here's how you do something in Overkill, here's the best guns, here's builds and everything. So I'm really trying to find my footing on what kind of content I want to be doing. I think the best thing to do is kind of just, do whatever feels right to me and go from there. I feel like the first thing I really wanted to do was just get my opinions on the game out and get my bearings, I guess, in the game and then go from there. So that's what this is. And I just want to thank you for taking the time to listen. Last thing I'm going to leave you with, for those that don't know, I have made a new Twitter account for just my content creations. So I'm going to be leaving a link to that in the description if you want to follow me about anything that I do content-wise. I'm going to also leave a link to my Twitch streams. I'm going to be live streaming Payday 3 quite a lot now going forward. So hopefully I can catch you there. Link will be in the description. And last, if you want to stay connected with everybody in the community or maybe play a game with me or two sometime, look for the Discord invite link in the description as well. We'd love to chat with you and play some Payday with you if you'd enjoy. All right, you guys. I'll hopefully see you sooner than later with another Payday video. Thanks again for watching. Take it easy.